Hi everyone, welcome to Python tutorial. In this tutorial we will say lists in Python. What is a list? In Python, a list is used to store sequence of various types of data. Lists are mutable type and lists, like once we declare list we can modify elements of it. Like we say in Python, list can store various type of data. It can store strings, integers, floating points, decimal points, or it can store list within a list or tuple within a list. We can declare however we want. And this is the syntax for list. We can declare either using the inbuilt function list or by using the square brackets. And lists are mutable. What does it mean? Like we can perform adding of elements or removal of elements, or if we want to perform any additional operations like sort, we can do that in list. Let's see with an example. Suppose we have a variable list which consists of value 1 2 3 4, and we want to remove element 2. For that we have a method remove. We can simply specify 2. It will remove this 2. Or if we want to add any element to the list, we have a method called append, and here the list will be 1 3 4, and here the list will be 1 3 4 5. Here we have removed the element 2, here we have added the element 5. Characteristics of list. Lists are ordered. What does it mean? Like list store the way we give the elements. Like we have inserted the elements like this: 1 2 3 4. It will preserve the insertion order. Like once the 1 is declared at index 0, it will be at index 0 until we do any operations on it, like we remove or we append some elements before it, until the 1 is at index position 0 only. The elements of the list can access by using index value. If you want to access element 3, how you can do is you can access by using index value. Since the index starts from 0 and 3 is at index 2, you can get the value 3 by using its index value. Since it is at 2, specify the 2 within the brackets, and this is the variable name. By specifying like this, you will get the value 3. Lists are mutable types. We have discussed in the previous slide. A list can store number of various elements. As I said earlier, a list can store numbers, strings, boolean values, and it can store list within a list, or it can also store tuple. These are the few methods that are available in list. Append. This is used to add elements to the end of the list. This is the syntax for append. List.append, and whatever the value we want to insert or append at the end, that value we have to specify within the parentheses. Extends. If you have two lists, list 1 and list 2, and you want to add elements of list to the end of list 1, at that time you can use extends keyword. How it will do is, this is the syntax: list1 dot extend list 2. Suppose you have a list like this: list 1 1 2 3, and list 2 4 5 6. If you do list1 dot extend list 2, and the output will be 1 2 3 4 5 6. You will get output like this: sum. This is used to get the summation of all the values within a list. You can simply specify sum of lst. It will lst1. It will give the sum of these values. Similarly, count. This is used to count the occurrence of a particular element within a list. Suppose if we want to check a number of occurrences of 3, we can specify value 3 within the count within the parameters, or we can pass it as a parameter within the count. We will get number of occurrences of 3 within the list. Index. What it will do is it will return the first occurrence of a value what we specified within the index. And these are optional, start and end. If we want, we can declare, if not, not required. Min. This is used to get the minimum value within a list, and this is the corresponding syntax for it. And max. To get the maximum value of a list, we can use max function pop. To remove the last elements, we can use pop. Insert. If you want to insert the value at the middle of the list, you can do it. This is the syntax for it. List.insert. This is the value, and this is the position at which we want to insert. Remove. Suppose if you want to remove any value within a list, you can specify that value within the remove method. That value will be removed from the list. Note, this will remove only first occurrence within a list. Suppose if you have 1, 2, 1, 3, 4, and you want to remove 1, it will remove this one only. It will not remove this one. Sort. In order to make list values in ascending order, for that we can use sort function, and in order to reverse the list, we can use the reverse method. Let's see all with an examples. Let's declare a sample list. Which consists of all type of values. Indexing in list. Suppose if you want to access the value 3, how you can do it? Simply you can mention index of 2. Since it is at index 2, you can mention a list of 2 in this one. If you see here, you got the value 3. And suppose if you want to get the value ABC, you can also do that. Simply mention list of 3 since it is at index 3. If you see here, you got the value ABC. Suppose if you want to retrieve this value for list, check whether at within which index this list is. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at index 5. If you see here, it will print a whole list and split in. Like if you want to retrieve 3 to from 3 to the end, you want to store 3 to end within a list 2. For that, how you can do is from 3, right? So it is at index 2. You can mention like this. It is the start position, it is the ending position. We want to start it from index 2 and we want to retrieve all the data until end and print list 2. If you see here that the list 2 contains the values from 3 to until end. Updating list values. Suppose if you want to update value at index 2, how you can do that? Simply specify list of 2. Like you want to update the value at index 2 and mention value. Print list. If you see here, this 2 is updated with the tick. Like this, you can update the values within a list. And iterating within a list. Suppose if you want to print all the elements within a list, for that you can use for loop. For any variable v in, here we have to specify name of the list and simply print. If you see here, we got the elements of the list. How it will happen is first in the in the for loop, first one is s into v and it will print, and after printing one it will give one line space, so one character space, and 2 will be s into v and it will print, and it will, after printing 2 it will give one character space. Like this it will iterate. Let's see append method in list. Suppose declare a list 3 which consists of elements 3, 4, 5, and append the element. And if you want to append element 6 to the end of the list, if you want to append here, for that simply use append inbuilt method and print the list. If you see here, we got the value 3, 4, 5, 6. Since we have assigned 3, 4, 5 and we have appended 6 using the inbuilt method append. Or if you want to extend, or if you want to add another list to the end of the list of list 3, at that time you can use extend. Here we have given assign 1, 2, 3 to the list variable 4, and we have extended it with list 3. Let's see how it will print the output. If you see here, it has the elements of list 3 are added to the end of the list 4. Sum. If you want to find all the sum of all the elements within a list, for that simply you can use sum, and within the sum you can mention the variable list name. If you see here, you got the output 24. Since in the list was updated, this is the values is in the list 4 after this operation. So if you sum all these values, you will get 24. Define another list 5. If you want to check the count of value 1, simply use lstify.count 1. If you see here, you will get value 3. And if you count the number of ones within a list, there were 3 only. 1, 2, 3. Index. If you want to retrieve the index of a particular element, you can do that using an index function. If you want to retrieve the index of value 3, there is some error. 3 is not in list. Okay, so it was declared in list 5. So if you see here, the index of value 3 is at index 2, 0, 1, 2 at index 2. If you want to retrieve, if you want to find out on which index the particular element is, at the time you can use list.index function and pop. In order to remove the last elements within a list, you can use pop function in the list file. If you see here, last 2 is removed within the list. Insert. If you want to insert any particular value in between the list, suppose if you want to insert an at index 3, you can mention like this and print the list. Oh, sorry. Like the first is one is the position at which we want to insert, and second one is the value. So we are inserting at index 3 value 10. This is how insert works. And if you want to remove any particular value within a list, for that you can use remove function. Note it will remove only first occurrence of the list. If you see here, the first one is removed. To sort the elements of the list, simply use the sort function within a list. And to print the list, use variable name list file. If you see here, the list is sorted 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 10. And if you want to reverse the list, simply use reverse method on the variable name list file dot reverse and print the variable. If you see here, the list is reversed 10, 3, 2, 2. So this is how you can use all the functions within a list. That's all for today's tutorial. Thank you.